So many of you seem to enjoy my last Pinterest inspiration video, which I will link below in case you missed it and you want to catch up. And this makes me so happy because I had such a blast with the last one. So now we get to try another one together today. And I picked a really challenging one, so I will definitely need your help in analyzing the Pinterest picture. So be sure to speak up so I can hear you with your suggestions. Welcome, it's Barbara from Vienna, Austria. So let's look into my iPad and see what I chose. So this is it. Isn't she beautiful? I'll give you a closer look. So this one is done by Emma Williams. I do not know her, but I think this tag is fabulous. And there is so much going on here. So as you can see, it's going to be a huge challenge. And I don't know yet how I'm going to do everything here because there's a few things here I am not sure how to do yet or how she's done them. So yeah, cool challenge. I need to kind of start thinking about this in the reverse way to make sure that everything will fit on the tag, meaning that I'm not just going to start by making the background tag. So there's two tags here. I guess you can see that. So I'm not going to start by making the background tag and then making the smaller tag and then thinking about what to put in front. I think I need to do this the other way around to make sure that everything fits concerning the proportions. So that means first I want to be sure that I know which image I'm going to pick instead of the cute girl here with her dog. I just think that's adorable. I don't have that. I don't know if this is a Tim Holtz one or not. Kind of looks like the Tim Holtz dolls. But what I have here instead are these beautiful vintage children cutouts, and these I have received from Louisa Heinzel. These are from her Etsy shop, and I will link these below. I think they are super cute. And what I also really think is a great idea, she has these both in this black and white and in this more like sepia tone. So how cool is that? So depending on your project, you can then choose what works better in the color range that you're working in. So there's also some ladies here. So maybe this is another printable actually. I will check if I find another one with grown-ups or ladies, then I will link that below for you too. But a lot of these are children. A lot of them are wintry, so perfect for this season. Super, super fun. Now some of these are going to be, I also love this one. Some of these are going to be too big for my tag, so I can already rule out the bigger ones. And I kind of want to go with a girl because we have a girl here. She would be great, but she is too big for my tag, so that's not going to work. These are the ladies. This one's not going to work. This is again a lady. So what we are left with is this cute one with the ski, or this cutie. I actually have two of these with the umbrella, or this one with a doll and a like a suitcase, mini suitcase, and this one with the flowers. Yeah, it's a tough choice. Let's go with this girl. I think she's very cute with her umbrella and the flower basket there. Okay, so now we can think about what size we want to make the top tag. Like this, I need some room on the bottom here. And we also need some room, a little bit of room on the top. So wow, this is just a top tag. This is going to be big. And it's also going to be quite wide. Okay, let me trim this down and then we'll go on from there. And by the way, this is just a 200-gram cardstock, nothing special. So like in the last time, I'm just going to cut the corners. I'm not using a template or anything, but of course you could if you have one, or if you have a die cut, you can do that. Just again, flipping it over to the other side. and cutting at the same angle like that. Okay, so this is our top tag. And then of course we need the tag for underneath, which is again going to be bigger. It's really going to be a huge tag. So it looks like she has wallpaper underneath. That's kind of what it looks like to me. Beautiful vintage wallpaper. I do happen to have some, which is pure luck, but if you don't have any and you want to give this tag a try, you can also try to find some cardstock that might have some floral patterns on it. I have one example here. I don't know from which paper stack this is. I am pretty sure I got this one locally. So this could totally work as the background here if I didn't have any wallpaper. I think I will use this, but I will actually put this on the back side. I don't really care for these cacti on the back. So I think I will use this as the back side of the big tag, and I will just cut this to work as my base, and then this will be the part that I will cover up with my wallpaper. So looking at the size again, this is pretty much here in the center. Oops, fairly in this, not really actually. See, I didn't notice that before. So it's more towards the bottom left here. There's more space on top here and the right. Very interesting. So if we try to simulate that, we could then cut it here and here. So I will again trim this down. So now we have this, and again we need to cut the corners, and I think I'm just going to move my tag up to the corner so that I can have the same corners and use that as a template. All right, so we have our basic two shapes ready to go. Now let's work on the bottom tag first. So I'm going to put this aside for now. So the wallpaper, let me show you what I have. So I've been collecting some wallpaper. Some of this has been sent to me. Some I found here locally at a flea market. So this one I think is absolutely gorgeous. And I think actually this would be perfect for our project, but now I don't know. Yeah, it's not wide enough. Oh, bummer. So now I know also these are going to be too small. These won't work either. This one is kind of in the wrong color range. Don't really want this, but what could really work well is this one. So this one is actually really cute, and yes, I think this would be perfect actually. So I'm going to trace my tag. I'm just using my tacky glue to glue this on. I don't like using double-sided tape for something like this because I know I cannot adhere it precisely enough, because I like having the wet glue or the glue stick, so I still have a chance to move the paper a little bit if I need to. So this is our base. So now we have to look more closely at what did she do with the base. So some things I see here are she has some stitching with the machine, the sewing machine, going around the whole tag, and the stitch actually varies. Here it looks more like a kind of a zigzag stitch, or a, I don't know what you call this stitch that goes around the edge. No idea. And then what I also see is there seems to be some sort of crackle paint or so. I don't know, in white. So I don't have anything like that. So I would have to find another way to come up with that look. I also don't know what these X's are. Kind of thinking they might be stamps. They're not hand drawn. It doesn't look like hand drawn. So I'm gonna have to find a way to do that. There are some black splatters. Okay, we can do those. What else do I see? Underneath, I also see there's some book page scraps peeking out. And there's a label here and another label on top and a little bulldog clip, which I don't have either like that. So a lot of things that I'm already challenged with. And also she obviously vintaged up that wallpaper, because I see here it looks like she's darkened it a bit in some areas. So maybe some vintage photo will do that trick with this one. Let's think about this strategically. The stitching is going over the top of whatever this white thing is. Okay, so I think the first thing we need to do is maybe we'll start off with some scraps on this side. That should be fairly easy, and a label here and some more scraps. And then we'll worry about the white spots. So I have my box of scraps here. A lot of these are book pages, so I think this will be perfect. So let's get some book page torn. Let's take our top tag so that we kind of know where this is going to be placed. So we'll have some peeking out here and then some more on the bottom. Okay, then we have this label here. I do have my beautiful Egyptian cigar box here with some labels. These are from my shop. I will link these for you in case you need labels. So she has a blue one. We can also take a blue one. We do have some here. Just kind of want to find the right size. Maybe we don't have the right size. Maybe we'll take another one. We could also take a black one, of course. This, I think, is kind of the right size. I'm not sure I have one of those in blue. Okay, it looks like I don't have the perfect size in blue, so I will take a black one. So I'm going to take this one. So this is going to go somewhere here. And then we need like another label or something. You see that? It has another label here. So we need something in here. I'm not sure yet what that could be. I have my box of ephemera here. And I thought maybe I can find a ticket or something that might work. A lot of these things are from the Your Creative Studio boxes. So this says 119 Taylor Street, and it also says San Francisco. We could add just one of these peeking out. Let's do the one with the street, Taylor Street. Yep, I think that will work nicely. So now, of course, we need to vintage these things up. I will go around this one and the label. Make sure to get rid of all those white edges. And then I'll go get my... Oh, you know what? She has it grunged up so much. I don't think I need to get my other brush. I can just do it like this. Really grunge it up. Okay, I think I can attach this. I mean, hers is obviously not attached because she has a bulldog clip around it, but I don't have one, so I might as well just glue this down. So I think I might have another solution for that. So this is what we have so far. We definitely need to grunge up this tag some more. So I'm gonna again take my vintage photo. So now it's time to tackle these white areas. So tell me, what is this? Is it white crackle paint or what is this? I really don't know. I think the best I can do is to use some texture paste. So this is again the one that I made myself. I will again link the video that I used to make this below. And then I thought I could add over that this stamp, which is from Crafty Individuals. I will link their website below as well. So because this kind of has like this crackling pattern. So maybe we can kind of simulate that same effect. We'll try our best. So I'm not going to use a stencil for this. I'm going to smear it on like it is. So we'll just add some of the areas that she has some. So there's some, not on the paper. There's some here. I know she's not using texture paste, but I really don't know what else to use. And we'll add some up here. You can also, of course, use gesso. That would work just as well, but I did want a little more texture on this. And there's some on this side. Some of you might be cringing now because I'm totally doing the wrong thing, but I'm just working with what I have. Then there's some down here. I could add just a little bit here. Of course, I should also consider that I'm gonna have to be sewing around this, so it'll be interesting to sew on top of my texture paste. I've never tried that. So if you're worried about your sewing machine and you actually want to include the stitching, maybe it's better to use gesso, because I don't want to be responsible for your sewing machine breaking. Okay, I think I'm gonna let this dry, and then we'll add the crackling stamp to it. While that's drying, we can work on the top tag. So here it looks like in the background, maybe she used some distress stains. You can also use watercolor. I'm gonna just use these distress stain daubers because I have them. So I'm gonna use my tumbled glass. There's some blue here in the middle, so I'll just add some of that. And on the outside, see she has like a brownish color, so I'm gonna try my brushed corduroy for that. You could also just use your distress oxide brush if you want, or some brown watercolor, or anything water soluble you have. This actually might be a bit dark. Let's see if I can then still lighten that up. Oh, I don't like this at all. This was not a good choice. Let me quickly take a baby wipe. Okay, that was not a good idea. This is way too dark and it's not blended. Okay, so probably she didn't do this. So the good thing is that I can just turn this around and try again. I do have this annoying line here because this was a piece of scrap that was printed on. Okay, let's do this again. I'm not gonna use the brushed corduroy. I'm gonna use the tumbled glass. I think was fine. And I think I'm just gonna put this all over and then go around the edges with my vintage photo. That might work better. And for this, I'm actually going to take my other blending brush. Much better. That's why it's good to analyze these kind of photos and to try to make it look the same, because you learn a lot and you'll see if something looks similar or not, or if you like the way it looks, no matter if it looks similar or not. If you like it, maybe you just discovered something new. Then I also see some script stamping here. Very faintly, just here. And also I see it here. So let's add some of that. And actually I just see now here, there's some stains here which look like water stains. So maybe we'll just spray some water on it first. I have a spray bottle here, so let's just add some. and dry that. I did use my heat gun because of course I couldn't wait. Look how absolutely fabulous this turned out. You see all the spots here? This is such a beautiful grungy background. So this is definitely a technique I can use in other projects as well. I just absolutely love how this turned out. Okay, the next step, the next step we said is the scripty stamp. I'm going to use this one from Crafty Individuals. Not sponsored, I bought these with my own money. And I'm going to use my archival ink in jet black for this. This time I really want to be sure to use a permanent ink since I think I'm going to, well, I actually know I'm going to use some wet media on top of that. So I want to be sure that it won't smear because we need some stenciling on that. And I'm not looking for a perfect print. I just want some of the script to show through. Here and here. That's all we're gonna do. Is it? Maybe somewhere down here. Okay, that's all. We just want a hint of it. So now comes the tricky part, the part where I need your help again. So you see these flowers, how are they done? Because my issue is if they're stenciled, then how is this beautiful color change? How does that work? Because yes, I can mix my texture paste with a color, but how do I make the color change from yellow to green like this? I don't know how that's done. If it's not a stencil, what else could it be? Could it be embossed? But again, with embossing, I don't know how to have a color fading like that. So obviously my techniques are not as developed yet as, what was her name? Emma's. There's also some spots here, which look really nice. So I don't know how she did that. Can you guys please help me? Okay, what I think I'm going to do is to take my texture paste and maybe mix it with my wild honey to get this yellow color. And maybe then we can somehow paint some of the other parts in green. But first we also need to think about what stencils. So I have one, the only floral one I have is this one, which I think should do nicely. And yeah, so let me try to mix some of my texture paste with the wild honey. So I have an old cover of an old calendar here that works for me as a palette. And I'm gonna take my wild honey, again, just use watercolor instead of this. And then let's add some texture paste. I have never tried coloring my texture paste with distress stain. Seems to work, but I'm gonna need a whole lot more. Maybe not so good to have it on my iPad. I'm sure there's a better way of doing this. But I'm having fun trying new things. Okay, hers is a lot more yellow. You can see here. Can you? Yeah, you can see here a lot more yellow than mine. Maybe if you have like a spray bottle, that might be good. Like one of these spray inks would probably work really well. Okay, I'm gonna go with this now. I might add some more like watercolor or something on top of it afterwards. So we want some up here. And I know some of you have said I should watch the Tim Holtz Facebook Live events where he shows a lot of techniques. And yes, I agree. And I've seen some of those in the past, but they're just so long. Like many of those are like even 2 hours or something. So I need to find time to do that. But yeah, that's definitely a good way to learn these techniques that I'm just trying to comprehend. I like that. So if we put our girl here, yep, I think that's nice. Does it need some more up there? No, I'm just gonna leave this and we're gonna let this dry. In the meantime, this is pretty much dry. So let's try to add this crackling sort of stamp to that. If you don't have anything like this, you could also, of course, try to maybe do that crackling pattern with a permanent pen or something. That might also work. Or just not do the crackling. Just grunge it up maybe with your distress oxide or something. So I'm gonna try this. I know it's not gonna look like what she did, but I think this is gonna be as close as I will get to it. Yeah, it's okay. Not brilliant, but it's all right. It will do for our purpose. I will now go over these white parts again with my vintage photo and my flat brush. So please write me in the comments if you know how this is done, because it looks super cool. And I would love to be able to do that maybe in the future. Now, as for these two, I think what I'm going to do is, since I don't have a stamp, and of course I could just try to draw these, definitely. But I think I like the added texture, so I'm going to stitch these. And since I don't actually have a black embroidery thread for some reason, I'm just gonna take some regular like sewing thread and maybe do it like twice or 3 times to make it work. So I'm gonna stitch right through my tag. I'll double up my thread. I need a bigger knot. Okay, I'm just gonna leave some thread hanging so that I can make a knot with both ends later, because the hole is just too big. Yeah, I'm just gonna go through it twice. I think that should be okay. Yeah, so again, definitely not what she did, but I think that's totally okay. We're just doing our own thing. We just want to get similar effects. I just used a piece of clear tape now to tape these down because that one end was too short to tie. I don't have the patience to deal with it now. But here you see in the front now we have these 2 stitches, which are somewhat similar to what she has here. So the next step I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my sewing machine and sew all the way around this tag. If you don't want to do that, again, if you're doing this, please be sure that your texture paste is completely dry. You will mess up your needle and your sewing machine otherwise. Or you could just do faux stitching with a black pen. Thankfully, my sewing machine is still intact, and as you can see, I've sewn around the edges. I've added some zigzag stitch there and here. Otherwise, I just went around with a straight stitch. So I think the background is ready to go. So I think now we need to continue working on this one here. So obviously, we need to do something about the color here. Of course, we could leave it. It's a nice pale yellow. But I kind of want to get this nice golden yellow. So I'm just going to take my watercolors here. And this is a palette I put together myself. I'm taking my water brush. You could take a regular brush, of course. And I'm going to see what happens if I take this beautiful golden yellow and add that on top of flowers. Oh yeah, that seems to work. Let me zoom you in a little bit. So I am happy that I mixed in the yellow to my texture paste, because At least now I won't have any stark white peeking out from underneath, which I would probably see around the edges. So I think that's nice. And we'll do the same for the flowers here. And the rest I'm gonna do in green. I know this looks very different than here, but actually I'm very happy with how this looks. I'm just gonna keep that. So again, I just need to let that dry quickly. Actually, before we let this completely dry, we can do one more thing. So you see here how she has these cute hearts. There's 3 here. And they also look like they are raised a bit. So I don't know if they're stickers or if it's again textured paste through a stencil or what that is. Of course, I could just paint the hearts with watercolor or with acrylic paint. That is definitely an option. But I also have these red flowers. They're just plastic flowers. And I thought I could add 3 of those. And now I don't know what I should do. What do you think? We can just place them here and see what they would look like. I mean, that's also cute. I will mute this down a little bit because it is quite bright, but I also think these are kind of cute. Why don't we switch it up? I like this. I will add these, but I will add them after I kind of mute that down a little bit. While that's drying, we can also think about the girl here. So if we have her like this, I will go over her with maybe some tea dye. And then I was wondering whether I should color in maybe the dress, but I don't know. I like how she kind of stands out. Let's make that decision after we kind of distress her a little bit. So taking my tea dye distress oxide and another one of my brushes, I'm just gonna gently, with circular motions, put this on. So this is what she looks like now, and I've also distressed the edges, and I think maybe I want to try coloring her in a little bit with watercolor. So first of all, I want to try to give her some pink cheeks, just the tiniest hint. Okay, it's really just a hint. And then should we color her dress? What color should we make it? Should we make it a green? Let's mix it maybe with some brown. I don't want it too bright. Olive green kind of dress. What about the flowers? Should we do the flowers maybe in red? Let's just do that. The hat, what do we do with the hat? Let's make it, should we do yellow? Let's do yellow. And I will leave it at that. It's quite fun to color these in actually. So this needs to dry and then we will move on. This has dried in the meantime, so I can now mute these down a little bit, hopefully. Using my vintage photo again for this. Yes, this is working really well. And also I will take my other sponge and go around the whole tag. Let's take a look at some of the other elements on this tag. So we have the label here with a fabric topper. We have mushrooms here, and we have what looks like a vintage bottle cap thing. We have this here, which looks like one of the Tim Holtz, I forgot what they're called, You know what they are. I have some of those, so I can use that. There's some cheesecloth in the background, as well as maybe some other fabric. I'm not sure if it's all cheesecloth, maybe. We have this flower element. We have some, what looks like sari silk. There is also some stitching on this tag as well. So maybe the next thing we should do is the stitching. Of course, annoyingly, this is done with a white thread, which means I need to change threads in my sewing machine. But yeah, let's do that. So she just has some stitching here and here. So I think the next step is for me to go ahead and to do that. Okay, I've stitched on both these sides. I even left the thread here like she's done here. Okay, so before we can add her, let's check on some other elements. I'll just place these here. Hers definitely, it looks a lot more vintage than mine, because mine seems to have quite a few more vibrant colors, but that's okay. So we have a mushroom and we have this milk bottle cap. So the mushroom I can get from one of my mushroom clip art images, which I will link for you below, as well as the bottle caps. I have those in my shop as well, so I'm going to use one of those. These I've actually printed on some, I think 160 GSM cardstock. This is just printed on regular copy paper. Yeah, I think it's fine if you just use copy paper for both. This one I need to add. I have printed on at 70% only, so they are quite small, because I thought these would just be too big if they were in the original size. So you see here she has these two mushrooms next to her. So I was thinking I could add maybe this here. Let me cut this out and then we can see what that will look like. This is it fussy cut, and I have inked up the edges as well. So this is gonna go somewhere here, probably have her go on top of that. And then we need the milk bottle cap. These I've printed at 100%. Hers is pretty much red, which also works with what I have here. I think I'm gonna go with this one here. So I will cut that out and ink that up. This is it. So this goes underneath. And then we need our little quote or sentiment, or whatever you wanna call them. So I have these from, oh, they're called quote chips. Now I remember. I will link some of these for you in my Amazon links as well. I made a short list here of what I think might work. Stay curious, I think, works really well. See the world, maybe not. Follow your heart. Yeah, enjoy the, I actually think I like stay curious for a little girl. That seems like the right one. So we have these elements now. There's a lot of cheesecloth here. So it looks like it's not all the same, or at least, or maybe it is one piece, but it's colored in different shades, I have a feeling. So I took some cheesecloth. This is dyed with coffee. This is dyed with avocado. And then I just have some lace here and some fabric. I don't know how I can make this work best, but we'll take some pieces from that. And then we have here some brads, or at least one here, because this one is covered up. So I don't unfortunately have anything like this flower. So I have two options for that. One is, if I want the flower look, I do have these little roses, or I guess I would be using one of the large ones. These ones are from locally from Action, so that would be the rose, which would be cute. Could definitely do that. The other option is, if I wanted to have something a little more flat, these are the metal elements I have. These are also from Action. So I could maybe use a leaf instead of the flower. Nothing too big. We could try either this one or this one. I'm not sure I like these. I kind of like this better, but it is extremely bulky. That is one thing I don't really like about this. But what I do like about it is it continues with the floral theme that we have going on here. We have these, if I'm actually going to use these. We have these flowers, and then we'd have this one. The metal again would be more vintagey. Maybe we'd have to see what it looks like with the ribbon that we're going to add. I have this sari silk ribbon, which would work actually really well. Or I also have this seam binding here, which would also be cute. Maybe I would rather go with the seam binding. Maybe this is seam binding. I'm not sure. I don't know how I'm gonna make this fluffy little thing. It's not fluffy, it's has a lot of loops. How would you make that? Maybe you go like this, and then maybe you'd stitch it together on one end and then just kind of fan them out, you think? I really don't know. That might be a bit much. But yeah, I guess you get the idea. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm not gonna use these. I do want a more vintagey look. So I'm going to just paint the hearts onto my tag. And I don't want it so dimensional either. So I think instead of this flower, I am going to use the leaf. So let's take the watercolors and paint hearts. This quote chip is too thick for my taste, so I'm going to use my craft knife and take that top layer off. Hopefully not slice off my finger in the process. There, once you've got the beginning, then the rest is simple. Yeah, that is better. I will also go around it with my vintage photo, although I don't see that she's done that. Yeah, she actually hasn't done that, but I want to do that. So she has a brad here. I don't know if this actually goes through the tag or not. I mean, it could, why not? She, of course, has more room here. I don't have a lot of room, but we'll see. My last tag, I thought I didn't have any small brads, but I forgot a whole box that I have. Please don't ask me where I got these from. They are from various places and I don't remember what I got where, but I do have these tiny brads here. So I can use one of these for that. Let's see if there's enough room. Yeah, just barely. I'm going to use my awl and poke a hole. That, and then I'm just going to put my brad through this and not worry about putting it through the whole tag. This is easier. Like this. Okay, so we have this. So we still need all this cheesecloth, and I'm kind of stalling because I don't know how to do that well. She has a whole different type of cheesecloth, and I really love the look of hers. Almost looks like corals from the sea or something. It's really torn well, and this one I have here just isn't that same quality. So I will just have to do the best I can with mine. Looks like hers goes all the way here to the end. Okay, I'm just gonna glue this down. Oh, I have to move this whole thing down because her umbrella is too far up. Okay, we can still take this off, thankfully. Let's move this whole thing down a bit. Maybe I'll add a piece of this here. Okay, I think this should work, so I'm just gonna glue all of these bits down now. Next, let's add the tag topper that we see here. I have these from RT Maze. These are freebies. I will link these for you as well. These look just like hers. Maybe she didn't use those, I don't know, but they look like this, so they're perfect. Let's just find one that I want to use. Oh, there's a 79 even. Look at that. So it doesn't quite look the same, and I think she probably added some glossy accents or something to that. I'm not gonna do that, I think. And she has 2 more brads here. I can definitely add those. It is a bit too white, definitely, so I will go over it with my tea dye. Okay, but before we add these tiny brads, we need this fabric here. I found this ribbon, which I think will go pretty well here with my tag. Let's see. I do like the fact that it's repeating the hearts that we have here now. So that would go underneath, like this. And then the number over it, like that. Yep, that is cute. Let's see if this is not too high. No, that's gonna work just fine. Okay, so I'm just going to glue this on. I think we're gonna have to cover up the back anyway. Because this, oh, actually, what am I worried about? This is gonna be glued on to the other tag, so it doesn't matter. Then let's make our holes for the brads on either side without poking our finger, hopefully. Oh, and this time actually I do need to poke the holes through the tag as well, because there's no way I can hide the backs of the brads on this small label. So let's see where this would go. Mark it with pencil first. The holes. Okay, I did a horrible job with that. They're too close together, so let's just move this one out a bit. That's better. There, that's good. What else? Do we have everything here now? Of course, we're still missing this here. I'm procrastinating. I don't really like this one. I just don't know how to do the seam binding. Does it look like it's a bow? No, but there's so many loops here. What if I just make 2 bows? I'm sure Tina would know how to do this from Shabby Dabby Doodah. Let's just try this. Maybe we would just make multiple ones of these and then glue them all together. Would that be an option? But then we have this knot, which is quite bulky again. Nope, I don't like that. Okay, I've looped this around 3 fingers and I'm just going to tie it together, actually on the opposite ends of where they meet, because I want to have the loose ends. I'm just going to use my black sewing thread that I still have on my desk. Tie these together. I'll just make a double knot. Okay, snipping off the ends. Now let's move these loops apart. Let's not cover everything up. No, this is not good. This is horrible. Okay, I'm not ready to give up yet. I have another idea. What if we do this again with the looping around, but we'll do 4 fingers. And then I will take this off. And I have one of these things to close bags, you know, that have the metal wire in the middle. No idea what they're called. I'm gonna put this around the middle. Just twist that to keep it together. There's probably a very easy way to do it and I'm just not getting it. Okay, let's hide the end underneath, and now let's try this again. Trying to separate the loops. I think that's the best one yet. Don't know how I'm gonna attach this. Probably hot glue gun, huh? Yeah, I think this is the best that it's gonna get. Okay, so I'm gonna have to bring out my hot glue gun. Maybe I will cut this end off a little. And then glue this on, and also use the hot glue gun to then glue this on top, and it's still quite bulky. Okay, my glue gun is hot and annoying as always. I really don't like working with my glue gun because it's dripping all the time. Okay, let's just do this, get it over with. Gonna add a good amount. And of course you have the threads everywhere. So I'm gonna put this here. And then I'll add some on top. And I'm running out of glue stick in here. Let's see if it's enough to hold the sleeve. Okay, this is pretty much a disaster, but this is as good as it's going to get. The leaf is a bit big, I have a feeling. So here's the comparison. Not quite, but yeah, I don't think I'm gonna be able to do any better than this. Something smaller would have been nice here, but I just don't have anything. Or should I consider the flower again? What do you think? The flower is cute, but it's just so thick. No. What if I put 3 smaller ones? Would that be good? They're also really bulky. I'm just gonna leave it. It might not be the best option, but I'm gonna leave it for now. I do feel like I want some more cheesecloth here because look, I really like how this is kind of like pouring out almost. So I want to see if I can still kind of stick some underneath the Stay Curious. I'm not sure that's actually gonna work, but I want to try that. So I'm just gonna add some glue here. And I'm gonna take my awl, try to stuff some of this down here. And same thing over on this side. Okay, that's better. It's a lot messier and I like that. I think we are ready to add this to our bigger tag now. So let's take our base. Let's take this. So this is gonna go here so that we can see the Taylor Street. Let's move that here. And one thing I still haven't done is the clip here. So as I said, I don't have that kind of a bulldog clip, which is here. But I don't know, maybe I can make one of these work. I have this washi tape with these clips, and I was thinking maybe actually this one here. If I can still find this tape, I will definitely link that for you below, but no promises. I'm gonna fussy cut this. It's not the easiest thing to fussy cut washi tape because it is sticky. It sticks to the scissors. So we can just put that here. And that looks like there's a clip there now. That's cute. Okay, so this tag actually now looks like it has been added with some dimensional foam tape. I think so. So I'm gonna do that. So let's put some on the back here. I have these pieces here. Let's see, yeah, I have bigger pieces. I can just use those. This is it. We're done. We made it. Yay. Final comparison. How do you think we did? I am quite happy with the result. I do think she has some techniques that obviously I don't know how to do, but I think not knowing these things, we did a pretty good job. There's some things that are different. This now, actually looking at it, the bottle cap seems to be dimensional as well, meaning I think that's also added with some foam, but yeah, I didn't do that. That's okay. The leaf is not ideal, but I think it's all right. It's fine. Yeah, I like the result. I think the main thing here is that not looking at this, I think it's a cute tag. We have this on the back here. That's also all right. Maybe I should cover it up because of this, or I'll think of something else to do with this to hide the tape. Like I could stamp something on a paper and glue it over or something. I can think of something. But yeah, I'm happy with this huge tag. I think it would look very nice on a journal page. You could attach it either just with a paper clip, or you could attach it as a pocket by just gluing either these three sides down or maybe these three sides to have a top loading pocket. So there's many things you could do with that. If you have it as a pocket, obviously you won't have to worry about this. Yeah, learned some new things for sure and enjoyed the process, even though it was a bit lengthy. So I hope that inspires you to again try a tag of your own. You know what, there's one thing that's bothering me. The white umbrella. I don't think I like this being white. As a last touch, let's just add a color here. And I think I will add the same red that I have here on the flowers, which was what? Which was, I think, this one. Now let's hope I don't mess the whole tag up by doing this. I don't know why that just kind of bothered me now that was white. Kind of want the mushrooms to be the only white element, that they stick out more. Yeah, I think that is fine. I don't think I messed it up doing that. Maybe even the handle should be brown. Okay, I'm gonna stop now. Yep, I like this better. Now the mushrooms stand out just a little bit more because they are the only white element. So get some Pinterest inspiration, make some fun tags or whatever you wanna do. As a reminder, Tina's gonna have a series coming out in February with Pinterest inspiration. So be sure to look out for that. And in the meantime, have fun until the next video. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Love you guys. Mwah. Mwah.